Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a mic now. Alright, so your bench sucks and you're ready to give up on it. But before you give up on it, listen to what I've got to say first. I'm Clinton from Technique Matters, and today I'm going to show you the most important part of getting a better bench, which is shoulder depression and retraction. So why is shoulder depression and retraction important? It's because it helps to create that stability on the back and on the shoulders itself. So when you unrack the bar, especially when the bar is just on top of you, ready for the bench, which is the start position, if you feel extremely heavy because the weight is on your arms, means you are doing something wrong or not right. So today, by understanding shoulder depression and retraction, it will help to create that stable and solid starting position, and not just that, it will also help to enable that strong position when the bar is on your sternum. Alright, with this shoulder depression and retraction in place, it can actually allow the bigger muscle groups to do the work. As the name suggests, a bench press, you should be using your pectoral muscles, which is the chest, to do all the work. So in order to do that, it is very important to understand two things. One, the positioning of retraction and depression, and number two, the movement behavior of how you should move the bar when you're benching. Okay, so first of all, if you want to prevent injury from your shoulders and elbows, it is very important to keep your shoulders behind and down. So retraction and depression is actually the action of trying to bring your shoulders back and downwards. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So as you can see from this image, it is a back view of me. What we are trying to do here is actually to create that shoulders down position. So you're gonna ask me, what is the muscle group involved in creating that shoulders down position? Yes, it is the lats. Okay, lats is a very, very big muscle as compared to anything else on the upper body. By engaging the lats and keeping your shoulders pronated, it will help to create the anti-shrug position, or some people might think of it as a chest up position. Okay, so when people say chest up basically means shoulder depression and engaging the lats. Okay, you want to bring your shoulders down as hard as possible. So why do you want to do that? Okay, so as you can see in the next photo, if I were to start in a position where my shoulders are up, where my upper traps are actually engaged, it is very hard to do a bench. When you bring the bar down, what happens is the shoulder will start to come forward. And in this shoulder forward position, your elbows will be over flat. Okay, when it's over flat, there's no way for you to actually use your chest to push the weight up. So what muscles are you using actually if you are in this position? It's actually the shoulders and triceps. Okay, so why are you using all the small muscles to do the work? If you want a bigger bench, obviously we use a bigger muscle, which is the chest. So in order to enable the chest to do the work, what's important is you need to keep the shoulders down. You do not want to raise your shoulders up. So one advice is, when you are setting up or when you are under the bar ready to bench, you must always think of shoulders down position and do not raise your shoulders up. Do not shrug. Okay, alright, so back to the bench in a proper position. So when your shoulders are down, the next thing you want to do is bringing your shoulders back. Okay, so what is the muscle responsible to bring the shoulders backwards? So this is the next important part, which is the retraction. Okay, so by retraction, what it means is engaging the rhomboids and the lower traps to squeeze the bar backwards. Okay, so this will once again enable the chest up position. Okay, so this is very, very important, because as you improve on this action of depression and retraction, then we can look into creating a better setup, getting a proper grip position to engage more lats, proper leg drive, and getting a much bigger arch, which is one of the most common questions that we hear from you guys. But in order to go towards those, it is important to learn the skill of shoulder depression and retraction. Okay, so as you can see here, from this video and exercise that I'm showing you, this is a movement behavior of how you should execute a bench. Obviously, when you watch a lot of people bench, it is very hard to see what is going on on the back, because obviously your back is lying on the bench, okay? But what I'm showing you now is actually how you should move with the bar, okay? So as you can see here, what I did was I bring my shoulders down as high as possible, creating that shoulder depression, okay? I'm gonna raise my chest up and squeeze a little bit on the rhomboids area. Okay, now this is the most important thing. As I bring the bar down, okay, I actively squeeze the lower traps and the rhomboids as hard as possible. So this will create that strong, tight position when the bar is on your sternum. Okay, so this is what I mean by stability created by retraction and depression. So in this tight, engaged lats and rhomboids and lower traps position, you can actually allow your pectoral muscles to push all the way up, okay? So this will solve a lot of issues like, oh, I don't have a lot of stability at the bottom. I feel very scared at the bottom when the bench is on my sternum. If you do the retraction and depression and the movement behavior right, you should feel that you are very, very confident and you are ready to push the weight up as hard as you can. Okay, so bear in mind, when we are executing the bench, which is the movement behavior, we want to keep our lats engaged and shoulders down. What's happening is only squeezing the rhomboids in and out, in and out. So the lats must stay engaged. Okay, so right now I have already shown you the positioning of depression and retraction, and also the movement behavior of how you should bench. I'm going to show you a couple of exercises which can help you improve that movement pattern. Okay, so one exercise is shown by JJ. It's called a scapular depression drill. Okay, so depression is much easier than retraction, so we'll start with that first. Okay, so JJ is basically in a sit-up position at the top. So what he wants to do is to just put the hands by the side and then extend his hands out down towards the floor as hard as possible. Okay, try not to use your legs when doing so. You want to create that shoulders down position. So it's kind of like a deadlift setup, or also what I always like to relate is one of the Marvel superhero movies, which is Iron Man. When he's about to take off, what he do is he'll put his hands by the side and then push the air down towards the ground. Okay, so this is what you want to do. So this is the scapular depression drill. All right, and the next one, once you have understand the depression, we want to move into creating that depression and retraction drill. This is where the bend pull aparts come into place. So what you want to do is to create that shoulders down position. So from the video, you can actually see that I intentionally move my shoulders up and then force it down as hard as possible. And the next thing I want to do is to maintain that position by maintaining the engagement of the lats. And after that, we want to just squeeze the lower traps and the rhomboids and reach the bend towards your chest. Okay, when doing so, it is quite important to pull the band slightly to create that tension. So with that tension, you can actually feel a lot of your back and your rhomboids to do the work. Okay, and lastly, this exercise is very relatable when you are moving with a bar on your hands, because now there's weight. Okay, so this is called the movement behavior drill push-ups. Okay, so what you want to do is to set yourself up in an inclined bench, inclined position of a push-up. And then you want to create that lat engagement by pulling your shoulders down as hard as possible, chest up a little bit. And from here, you want to squeeze the rhomboids in and then out. In and then out. Okay? So these three drills is very helpful to you to help you improve your movement pattern. Okay? So those who are at home and can't get to train right now, it is very important for you to practice on all these drills when you have nothing to do or when you're about to work out. Alright, so now we're going to touch a little bit on the setup and then elbow positioning. We talk about elbow positioning first. Okay, at all times, as long as you are retracting when you are bringing the bar down, the elbow should be just under the barbell, okay? So this is the optimal position for you to engage the chest when you are pushing, okay? So some people have the assumption of tucking. Well, tucking helps to engage the lats and feel it a lot more, but there's no way for you to squeeze the rhomboids in. So when there's no retraction, your chances of shoulders coming forward is very high. And then obviously the next thing is over-flaring. Over-flaring, the first thing you will feel is your shoulders, so never do that, okay? So in terms of setup, we're not gonna go in depth today. We're gonna have another video all about setup. But the rule of thumb is you wanna set up revolving around the concept of how do I maintain depression and retraction when I unrack the bar. Okay, so as you can see from a demo video here, what I did was, it's a very easy way of setting up. First, I will just lie down on the bench and set my grip. Okay, first thing, I want to try and squeeze my rhomboids in just a little bit. Next thing, I raise my hips up and chin in and pull my shoulders down as hard as possible. So when doing so, it helps to relax the upper traps. Okay, so that will make sure that I won't raise my shoulders up when I unrack. Okay, next thing, to unrack, all you need to do is to extend your elbows, use your tricep a little bit, and then the next thing is all the lats come into place to squeeze the bar until the bar is just right on top of the sternum before you start the bench, okay? So this is a very strong setup position, okay? And all you need to do is to bring the bar down by squeezing the lower traps and the rhomboids, the chest to chest up cue, okay? The chest to bar cue. Okay, so this is a very simple setup. So the leg drive is simply just maintaining that tension on the against the floor so that I can keep my retraction and depression. Alright, so now that I've shown you all the necessary knowledge that you need to know about retraction and depression, go try it out and let me know if all these things are useful. Anyway, if you like this video and you enjoy what I've shared with you, please help us share the video, like, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Till then, I will see you. Goodbye.